उपलक्ष्य पर हार्दिक अभिनंदन है। यथाशीघ्र कार्यक्रम को आरंभ करते हुए मैं सर्वप्रथम हमारे मुख्य अतिथि माननीय मंत्री महोदय विज्ञान एवं प्रौद्योगिकी मंत्रालय, पृथ्वी विज्ञान मंत्रालय स्वतंत्र प्रभार, परमाणु ऊर्जा एवं अंतरिक्ष विभाग, प्रधानमंत्री कार्यालय, राज्य मंत्री कार्मिक लोक शिकायत एवं पेंशन मंत्रालय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी को मंच पे स्थान ग्रहण करने के लिए सादर आमंत्रित करती हूँ।
As we begin today's momentous celebration of BioSaarthi Foundation Day, it is time for a traditional and auspicious start by lighting of the ceremonial lamp, symbolizing the dispelling of darkness and ushering in of knowledge, innovation, and progress. We welcome all the respected dignitaries. To grace this occasion, it's my privilege to invite our esteemed dignitaries. Yes, sir. I extend warm invitation to our Honorable Minister, sir. This way. Followed by Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary, DBT, DG BRIC, Chairman BioSaarthi. I also invite Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Managing Director BioSaarthi. FCA Nidhi Srivastav, Director Finance BioSaarthi. Shri Dhirendra K. Ojha, Principal Director, General Media and Communications, PIB.
Keeping the momentum from yesterday, let's celebrate another year of our journey by honoring the tradition of innovation and advancements in biotechnology.
As the flame is kindled, may it illuminate the path for scientific excellence, innovation, and transformative growth in India's biotechnology sector. Thank you, respected dignitaries. So we'd like to open up the session by remarks from the Managing Director of BioSaarthi, Dr. Jitendra Kumar. Sir, please.
Honorable Minister of Science and Technology, Shri Jitendra Singh ji, respected Secretary DBT, DG BRIC and Chairman BioSaarthi, Shri Rajesh Gokhale ji, other dignitaries on the dais and dignitaries of the dais, members of press and media, and ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all on the eve of BioSaarthi Foundation Day celebration, and it's so apt that on this occasion we are also launching the Indian Bioeconomy Report 2025. I wholeheartedly congratulate BioSaarthi and the parent body, Department of Biotechnology, and all their officers and staffs on 13th birthday of BioSaarthi. Role played by BioSaarthi towards strengthening India's biotechnology ecosystem and promoting innovation, entrepreneurship, and research-led development in the biotech sector are commendable. With great enthusiasm, I state that, and without stealing the thunder from Association of Biotech-Led Enterprises President Dr. G.S. Krishnan, who will be actually presenting the Bioeconomy report today, the biotech ecosystem has surpassed 10,000 startups now. Please applaud. No? That was in 2024. A tenfold increase in just 9 years, reflecting India's innovation-driven growth and the contribution of biotech startups to the overall startup ecosystem growth. India's bioeconomy today stands at $165.7 billion, nearly doubling from $86 billion in 2020 and contributing 4.25% to the overall GDP. This has been possible through BIRAC's unwavering commitment to create innovation ecosystem in our country, with around 100 bioincubators operating in the country through BIRAC support, which provides plug-and-play facilities to startups. BIRAC has created a battery of funding programs to cover full value chain of biotech innovation, starting from biotech ignition grant to the next level funding, namely BIPP, SIBRI, product commercialization, funding, equity funding, and the funding through fund of funds, etc. As we celebrate 13 years of BIRAC, we look ahead with greater commitments and excellence. The next phase of India's bioeconomy will be shaped by disruptive innovations, strategic collaborations, and the relentless commitment to the sustainability and global cooperation. All this has been achieved under the able leadership of our Honorable Minister, and on behalf of entire DBT BIRAC team, I thank you, sir, for your unwavering support and guidance. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. Rajesh Gokhale also for his strategic guidance and support. Going forward, we look forward to creating strategies for global access of capital and collaborations for our startups through setting up of global accelerators, create scale-up facilities, which has already been initiated under BioE3 policy, facilitate navigating regulatory pathways for emerging technologies, and creating institutional mechanisms of venture creation from public-funded research labs. In other words, the faculty and student entrepreneurship. We also want to create a global e-marketplace for products developed indigenously by our startups through BIRAC funding. And the BioSaarthi program that we are launching today also is one of the steps towards setting up global accelerators and global cooperation. We already have very vibrant collaborations with Bill Gates Foundation and the World Bank through setting up of PMUs in BIRAC. We look forward to creating more such international collaborations. With unwavering dedication and collective effort, India is not just participating in the global biotechnology revolution, we are also leading it. I once again extend my heartfelt congratulations to DBT BIRAC and the entire biotech community and stakeholders who have also joined virtually all across the country. Together, let us work towards a Viksit Bharat, an innovation-driven, self-reliant, and globally competitive India. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind remarks. Now I'd like to extend my warm invitation to Shri Jitendra K. Ojha, Principal Director General, Media and Communications, Press Information Bureau, for your kind remarks, please, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to our chief guest, Dr. Jitendra Singh, Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge of Science and Technology, Earth Sciences, Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pension, PMO, Department of Space, Department of Atomic Energy. I also welcome Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, MD, BIRAC, Ms. Ekta Bishnoi, Joint Secretary, DBT, and Ms. Nidhi Srivastava, Director of Finance, BIRAC. As we all know that 13th BIRAC Foundation Day and launch of the India Bioeconomy report is an important milestone in the journey of the biotechnology industry. Research Assistance Council, an institution that has been at the forefront of the shaping India's bioeconomy landscape. Today's event holds a special significance, and there are the launches of India Bioeconomy Report, which is a comprehensive document that says about the state of our bioeconomy, and BioSaarthi. These will be launched by Honorable Minister, and there will be a press interaction after the address of the Honorable Minister also. So over to, thank you very much, and over to Prachi Kaushik for the proceedings next. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To begin with, I would like to invite Mr. G.S. Krishnan, President, able to present the highlights of the bioeconomy.
Honorable Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, and other distinguished guests here in the dais, and the delegates present. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here today to present the highlights of the Bioeconomy report. This report actually has been brought out for the first time. Apart from English, we have also brought down in Hindi. And as you can look at it, and as Dr. Jitendra Kumar already mentioned to you all, we are at 165.7, a growth of 9.7% or almost double-digit growth. And our contribution to the GDP is 4.3%, similar to US and China. This is something very important and something where we should be very proud about with the growth of the bioeconomy in the country. We've also looked at the regional spread, the way the bioeconomy's contribution is coming from the regions. We have the South leading with 48%, followed by 30%, which is from West, and then the Northern India and East is following. This is critically important again to see where do we need to develop the regions, where are the opportunities. So this is a very important aspect for us to be aware about where is the bioeconomy coming from. Also, the top 5 states, again here you can look at Maharashtra is leading with almost $45.45 billion, followed by Karnataka, and then Telangana, Gujarat, and Andhra Pradesh. Here again, it is key focus areas of all these states, depending upon the resources, depending upon the focus on various bioindustrial segment. These states are leading the overall bioeconomy in the country. The bioeconomy by segments, as you're all aware, it's the bioindustrial, biopharma, bio-IT services, and bioagri. Bioindustrial is almost 47%, where the enzymes and microbes play an important role with $78.2 billion, followed by the biopharma segment, which is at 35%, and then the bio-IT and research services, followed by bioagriculture. These are the key areas and the way things have been developing. Bioindustrial, which actually contributes to the overall food, the biofuel, the initiatives the government of India has taken are all contributing. We look forward to continue to develop these segments, and these are going to be the future of the bioeconomic growth in the country. The segment growth, as you can see, that bioindustrial continues to grow with 7.7%, followed by the biopharma at 8.6%. Bio-IT research and services are at almost 30% growth. This is specifically coming from the Global Capability Center, the offshoring of activities of a lot of multinational to use India as the base for innovation, regulatory and other services, which contributes to this growth, followed by bioagriculture, which also has a significant growth to contribute to the bioeconomy. The bioindustrial section, to go into the detail, the regional share very, very clearly, it is South followed by the North, and then the West and the East. Again, these are contributions coming from the biofuel, the food segment, the animal feed segment, and all those areas. So you can see the development from the regional share. The top 5 bioindustrial states are basically, we have the Andhra Pradesh, which is again contributing. Aqua is one among the biggest contribution, which is about almost 70% of the shrimp manufactured is happening in Andhra Pradesh. Likewise, Maharashtra, and we have Tamil Nadu and other places which is contributing. The subsegment performance and value, again, you can look at beverage alcohol, which is actually the beer manufacturing and alcohol, which is the number 1, followed by we have the animal nutrition, as I already mentioned. We are talking about poultry and aqua. And then we also have the other technical industries, which are textile, pulp and paper, and other segments, followed by bioethanol. This is coming significantly from the government's initiative to have E20 by 2025, which is already happening. And this is again a big achievement, and we are looking forward to 2030 to have 30% ethanol addition in fuel. This is again a biggest contribution and something which India should be very proud about. Followed by biopharma, you can see that the various segment, again here, South is leading by 49%, followed by West, and then of course the North and East together. The major areas of growth here again comes from the biopharmaceutical segment. And again, specifically if you look at it from the state's point of view, it is Karnataka, Telangana, and Maharashtra which are the biggest contributors. Maharashtra is number 1. And then the subsequent subsegment is also very clearly, you can look at the therapeutics, which is leading with almost 21.4 billion, followed by vaccines, and then of course the diagnostics and the other medical devices. This is again a segment which has been contributing significantly with a lot of innovation, which is contributing to the growth of this segment. The bioservices, as I already mentioned, the major contributor comes from the Global Capability Center, and then of course also the overall India's CDMO and other CRO facilities which are contributing to this. Again, South is leading by about 80% of these activities, and you can see the bioservices from the top 5 states, which basically is Karnataka, followed by Telangana, Maharashtra, and the other states. Here again, these are some of the areas which India has been playing a leadership role, and there are companies and organizations from Europe and West who are looking forward to seeking innovation capabilities from India. The bioagriculture segment, again a significant growth, and you can see that West is contributing to 60% of the total bioagriculture segment, followed by South and the other states. Here again we are talking about biopesticides, biofertilizer, biostimulant, and other areas where we are looking at the future, which is going to be precision fermentation. Top 5 states in the bioagri segment, as already mentioned, it is Maharashtra, Gujarat, Telangana, Karnataka, and the other states which are growing. The startups, which already Dr. Jitendra Kumar mentioned about it, we are already crossed the 10,000 mark, and there is a projection by 2030 will be 20,000 startups. And as you can see, it is innovation, it is entrepreneurship, which is very, very critical. And with the Government of India and DBT's initiative on Bio E3 policies, we feel that this is going to be an area which will be more focused and is going to support the growth of the biotechnology in general in India. The number of startups, as you can see, it's distributed all over India. It's not focused on any particular state or region. All over we have startups, and the initiatives from BioRack is very, very critical to the growth of this particular area and support for the startups. Realizing the Indian biotech century, the strategic focus area which we believe is cell and gene therapy from a pharma point of view, synthetic biology which is gaining momentum, AI, precision agriculture, and biomanufacturing. Again, with the Bio E3 policy, this should gain momentum in a very big way, and it's going to be seeing India as the leader. The key enablers, of course, are human capital development, investment and funding, policy and regulatory framework. With this, I would like to take the opportunity to thank DBT and BioRack for giving us the opportunity, and also appreciate ABLE's COO and the Secretariat who have been working very hard to bring out this. And I'm sure all of you will see a lot of change and a lot of useful information for the growth of biotechnology in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for providing the insights of the Indian bioeconomy. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Manish Diwan, Mission Director, Make in India for Biotech Sector, BioRack, to present the overview of the BioSaarthi initiative of
Honorable Minister Ji, Secretary Sir, MD BioRack, Oja Ji, and Ms. Nidhi. We are trying to bring another initiative from BioRack, and as BioRack's Foundation Day is known for rolling out newer initiative, this is a step in that direction where we want to integrate global expertise and make available for Indian biotech startups. So BioSaarthi is a program where global mentoring for biotech startups will be rolled out through this platform. We will have international mentors, especially Indian diaspora will serve as international mentors for Indian startups. The Indian biotech startups at stage from POC to commercialization, as well as faculty entrepreneurs will gain benefit from this initiative. This would be a virtual interaction spread over 6 months. In a cohort base, 15 to 20 startups would be selected, and each startup would be exposed to 1 to 2 mentors, and they will engage for over a period of 6 months to meet the objectives which are decided by the startup that it wants to avail. This will enhance the overall growth trajectory of emerging biotech ventures in the country by infusion of the global expertise in terms of development and also reaching out and extending their network. So today we are launching it by 3rd of April, which is the Startup Mahakumbh. We will roll out the national application to invite the mentees. Over a period of time, we will have the mentors and mentees engagement started in May. And we will utilize the platforms like We Create a Global Bio India, as well as international platform like BioUS, where we will harness this synergy and attract both Indian diaspora as mentors and expose what is the outcome of this endeavor. So by next Foundation Day, we can expect an experience sharing from this initiative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing the key features of this initiative.
Now I'd like to request Dr. Rajesh S. Gokhale, Secretary DBT, DG BRIC, and Chairman BIRAC for his kind address, sir, whose unwavering support has been instrumental in fostering innovation and driving impactful biotech initiatives. Over to you, sir.
Namaskar and good afternoon to all of you. Honorable Minister of State, Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, Shri Dhirendra Ojha ji, Principal Director General PIB, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, MD BIRAC, Dr. Manish Tiwan, Mrs. Nidhi Srivastava, Mr. G.S. Krishnan, President Able, my dear colleagues from DBT and BIRAC, who all of you are gathered here actually on this wonderful occasion, members of press. I think first of all, let me congratulate BIRAC for this Foundation Day celebrations that we are all come together actually. In fact, it was yesterday and we have a 2-day celebration meeting that is going on. Yesterday we had some wonderful lecture on the CAR T cell therapy actually, which was supported in an incubator that was situated in IIT Bombay. And I think today we are actually releasing as part of this bioeconomy report, which you just heard about it. I think as a family, BIRAC and DBT family, we have done spectacular things over the years. And I think we should all proud of ourselves, and maybe we should have one round of applause for all of us to be able to do this. I must say all of this has been possible because of Dr. Jitendra Singh ji's support, guidance, motivation, and vision. I think, sir, you have been able to bring the biotech out from a smaller cocoon into a bigger picture, actually into the mainstream area. And we are really thankful for your guidance and vision, what you have provided us over the years that I have been here in the department and even previously. I think it's amazing what we have been able to do. And I thought, you will hear about how vision of other aspects of bioeconomy report, as well as the BioSaarthi global mentorship that you have heard about. I thought I should reiterate, since this is the end of our financial year and March end is kind of an end of budgetary sessions and everything. I should reiterate some really key important highlight events that we have done over this year actually. And I think that will tell you, and this is generally through the department's activities, both DBT, BIRAC, but it will give you a perspective of how amazing journeys have been in last few years that we have been here together as part of this aspect of it. Like one of the first aspect of that I would talk about is the gene therapy trials for the hemophilia. which was published in New England Journal of Medicine. An absolute advancement in the way the technologies are being developed in our country. This is the first trial of its kind, a successful trial where even for more than 2 years, the protein that is missing in hemophilia patient can actually be observed in the phase 1 trial activities. The second of these, I'll talk about the novel antibiotic that's discovered in India. Actually, it's 35 years since India had an antibiotic, nephromycin, again, done work in collaboration with BioRac and the company guys. The third one is the Kishan Kavach, which was launched here actually as well by Honorable Minister. And I think this was a very significant moment because protecting farmers from pesticides is actually of prima importance for our country's perspective. The fourth one I would like to highlight is the Genome India data that has been released actually, and you can see how this will catalyze the precision medicine activities across the country and also will bring India into the mainstream of genomics activities. Obviously, the BioE3 policy, which is actually towards sustainable future, announced by Honorable Minister and approved by Honorable Prime Minister actually earlier, which is going to be the transformative for our country's progress. And finally, the biomanufacturing initiative that Alka is so much leading around actually to be able to bring completely new dimension on the economic innovation economy that we are talking about and from an India point of view. So you can see over the year, these 6, 7 things that I've talked about, they are of really momentous occasions of what our country can possibly do in an innovation ecosystem. And there are 1,000+ startups, 10,000+ startups we are talking about. And believe me, this is a bus with so many novel things and so many exciting aspects that we can just, have to leverage their own strength and critical human resource and bring together our energies to make sure that we actually make it more impactful and more concretized as we continue to navigate into these areas of aspects. Also, what I would also try to talk about is actually the BioSaarthi program that Manish talked about actually right now to you is an absolutely important event, because what this allows you to do is, one, connect people across the globe, and this on a virtual platform, because this has become a very powerful since the COVID times, and allows people to interact, allows people to get an access to, funding, venture funding, allows people to get an access to markets, allows people to understand each other's strengths and fragilities. And I think that's been one of the critical components that has been missing in the BioRac's activities of event. We've been not having an internationally active membership group actually. The group has been largely concentrated on India. On the bioeconomy report, the lesser I say, the better it is, since all of you have already absorbed and Krishnanji has already talked about it. It's booming bioeconomy right now. It's to have a CAGR of 13%, 12% every year is very astonishing for a country like this. Obviously, that tells you so much about it, that there are so many things are happening around, that if at all this has to be continued and we have to reach the 2047, the Viksit Bharat platform, we really need to make this as a very big event. And I believe the bioeconomy can be around about 10 to 15% of the total economy of our country, and then only we will be able to reach this milestone. So there are lots of things we need to do actually, and clearly BioE3 policy provides us a perspective. As you must have just seen in the presentation of Ms. Shri Krishnanji, that East is actually lagging behind in terms of bioeconomic growth. Whereas if you really look at, from the strategic point of view, they have the maximum amount of bioresource of a completely different kinds, and they can really make things happen. And therefore, I'm glad to say that Assam is the first state that have actually formulated the BioE3 cell, which is actually, and it's great to see that states that are not in the classical domain of bioeconomic actually are trying to take this as an opportunity to do this. Again, Honorable Minister actually presided over this Center-State Partnership Program, which was a very successful program. About 24 states participated around that day actually there. And I think this is the exciting journey. We all need to work together, we all need to participate, and we all need to do best of us actually. I finally leave with a thought that is actually, I always believe that Department of Biotechnology is actually always in the zone of building a better tomorrow for all of us. And it's actively pushing the boundaries of research across sectors like healthcare, energy, agriculture, and truly BioRac and DBT are kind of Saarthi of one another, actually. I would think, ideally they are Saarthi to each other, they support each other's journeys, and they are together in part of these activities. I'm sure together we will achieve these milestones and contribute to our shared goals of brighter future, an innovative world, and innovative Bharat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your deep insights. Now I'd like to request our Honorable Minister to launch few new initiatives. We'll start with the India Bioeconomy Report 2025. I'd like to request Dr. Manish Diwan, Mission Director, Make in India, Dr. V.S. Krishnan, President Odal, Ms. Shilpi Kocher, Head Business Development and Communications and SPED in charge. Please come up and join us in the dais. Huge round of applause, please. Thank you. Now I'd like to request our Honorable Minister and the dignitaries on the stage to please launch BioSaarthi. A huge round of applause, please, for BioSaarthi. Now, I'd like to request the chief guest of today, Dr. Jitendra Singh, for a special address. Our Honorable Union Minister of State, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Minister of State in the Prime Minister's Office, Ministry of Personal, Public Grievance and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy, and Department of Space. Over to you, sir. We're launching the Hindi version of the India Bioeconomy Report as well. A huge round of applause, please. Thank you. Request our Honorable Minister for his special address, please, for the day.
Secretary, Department of Biotechnology, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, Director General, PIB, Mr. Oja, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, Nidhi, members of the faculty, friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I have to formally congratulate the team, both Rajesh and Jitendra, for having accomplished this first of its kind of task, I think, of releasing a bioeconomy report of India. And I'm sure this is going to be a regular phenomenon, a regular feature in the years to come as well, considering the kind of importance that bioeconomy is gaining with each passing day. Secondly, I also have to thank Rajesh for having very profusely, very generously said very kind words about me. And I'm sure the friends sitting there Pallav and the gang would listen to that, because often the ministers are known only to light the ceremonial lamp. According to Rajesh, they do other things as well. And we have certain reason to believe what he says, even though secretaries are known to say good things about ministers, because Rajesh is a secretary later and a scientist first, so he talks with evidence. So on that flattering note, I think, with all the modesty at my command, I have also to congratulate Jitendra for this 13th anniversary of BioRac. So, in the aura of this bioeconomy report, let's not forget that this also happens to be the completion of the 13 years. And what's been accomplished is actually one of the success stories of this interface called BioRac. We've done this successfully also in the Department of Space in the form of InSpace, and this is the other version. And I think this is also a role model for the other departments and all those, both in the private sector as well as the public sector, dealing with startups, dealing with entrepreneurs, how best to integrate the two sectors by having a structured interface. Otherwise, it becomes random, sometimes also subjective, and sometimes also disorganized. And the 13th anniversary of BioRac also assumes a special significance today, because this is the time when the government headed by Prime Minister Modi is according a very high priority to all these streams of science, and more so in the context of biotechnology, because it was virtually lying in the backyard. It's been pulled out to the center stage. And those who have seen the scenario changing or the transition or the journey over the last 2 decades would be able to appreciate the kind of transition or the kind of changeover that has happened over the last 1 decade. And the message has gone out loud and clear also. It's not only that's been done, it's also been known to be done, that of course, now here is a government which gives priority to those futuristic areas, futuristic sectors which are going to determine the economic profile of any nation across the world. And as I say, scientists are taught to speak with evidence. I think the biggest evidence comes less than 24 hours back when Mr. Bill Gates had a prolonged deliberation with Rajesh and his team throughout the day, and then concluded it with a meeting with me because of his interest in having an extended private collaboration in the area of biotechnology. And therefore, which means that any businessman or any entrepreneur with a futuristic vision realizes the importance of bioeconomy and the importance of India being a partner in shaping the bioeconomy of tomorrow, not only domestically but also internationally, because we have a huge resource which has been lying unexplored, has begun to be explored only recently. And the kind of prioritization which is coming from the political dispensation is evident from the fact that the Prime Minister has been talking about it repeatedly from different fora. In fact, one of those first ever bio expos or startup expos was inaugurated by none less than Prime Minister himself a year or so ago. Normally, such events don't get much of an importance in a government setup. And therefore, and I think all this has been possible because the government has had a very enabling influence on us. The GERD has been double in the last 10 years. From just 60,192 crore, we've gone up to 1,27,381 crore. That is on the one hand. And on the other hand, this government has been very open and forthcoming in encouraging public-private participation. There's no skepticism, no cynicism, which was there possibly till a few years ago. The public sector did not think very highly about the private sector. The private sector was always apprehensive of the public sector. The public sector thought that the private sector was always full of a gang of fleecers, and the private sector thought that those sitting on the other side were all bribe takers. And I told them the other day, I said, when you ride a bus, you don't know who's sitting next to you, a saint or a scoundrel, but you have no choice. And when the bus breaks down, the driver asks you to give a push. The only person sitting in the seat is the driver, all of you putting all your might. Then you don't ask the other person, look here, you are a scoundrel, you don't give the push. You want him to put his might. And therefore, if we have to move on, we have to move together. And that's what is something being realized today globally, when you look around the world. And in India, I'm glad in the last 10 years, we have started adopting the same global strategies which carry the nations ahead, whether it be the sector of space or biotechnology, and the latest one, that the most unimaginable sector of nuclear power is also being opened up to the private sector. And therefore, this has been possible because of this government approach. If you look at the budget allocated to the Department of Biotechnology, because I think today we live in an era where you don't have to just do the talking without facts and figures. And Pallav is very closely noting down even what he has not to note down. So one has to be careful. The Department of Biotechnology budget in 2014 was 1,485 crore, mere, hardly 1,000 crore. Today it has gone up to nearly 4,000 crore, 3,447 crore, which means a hike of about 132%. But that's not the entire pool, because we are in an equal measure also encouraging private sector. And the constitution of BIRAC is a testimony to that. And at the same time, we have also set up National Research Foundation, which will have more than 70%, nearly 70% of the non-government research, which would also be contributing to this financial pool. So maybe more than 100% hike in the per se budget announced by the finance minister. But if you take the overall pool, which is now available to us, was not existing earlier. So the cake has become very big. Upon that, the Bio E3 policy, which would also encourage this larger integration and growth. It's not easy to convince a political dispensation to approve of a policy like this. But I'm glad we had a Prime Minister. Of course, Rajesh was expected to make repeated presentations, which he did very meticulously, because the Honorable Prime Minister always likes to convince himself before he takes a decision. And then he was forthcoming and he said, okay, even if it doesn't have much of a relevance today, or may not be able to be understood very much today, we have to move on. Maybe for tomorrow's relevance, we have to adopt this policy. And today, I'm glad to say and also proud to say that we are among the first countries to have an exclusive, dedicated policy on biotechnology and bioeconomy. So Bio E3 for environment, for employment, and for economy. And under that, we have Bio AI hubs. So look at the kind of spectrum that is sought to be covered. Then we have the bio foundries being in the focus. There is a separate allocation for that. We have also the plans of setting up bio enabler hubs called Moolankar or whatever. We've already started that. And of course, the PPP model is already there. And as Rajesh mentioned, that it was his idea we must integrate all the states as well, because when we are thinking of integrating the private sector, how would we justify if we don't integrate the government setups within the country itself? So we had a marathon with the UTs, with the states, and I'm glad Assam was the first to have come forward, as he said. And the results of all this exercise have been amazing, even though the time is not long enough. We are yet to take off, or we are still taking off. But in the taking off itself, the results are so encouraging that I'm sure is going to involve more and more people across the sections of society, particularly youth, when they find the prospects of the future growth for themselves, personally, professionally, vocationally. The bio startups has gone up from 50 to more than 10,000 in just 10 years. I think you could clap for that. No, because then it gets registered in your mind. It's not an ordinary thing. It was embarrassing saying that's only 50. And bioeconomy has gone ahead 16 times now. That should make a news. Pallav. We were just about 8-10 billion US dollar in 2014. Today we are 165 billion US dollar. And even though when we started moving ahead, the projection that we gave to ourselves, the target we gave to ourselves for 10 years was just 150. But we crossed that. So there is a 16-fold rise in bioeconomy in just 10 years of the Modi government. So that what makes the difference. Because unless you draw the comparison convincingly, neither you would be able to talk convincingly, nor would the others be able to take it. And of course, now we are contributing as much as nearly 5% to the overall GDP of the country. That is almost 4.27% to be precise, which was something unexpected from the biotechnology sector. Till a few years ago, biotechnology sector was hardly considered an important component, a very, very minuscule and insignificant component of the overall economy. But today, here we are now being noticed, even by those who are in the business of annual calculation of GDPs. Bioindustrial 47.2, and of course bioeconomy, as the report mentions, Krishnan presented, 78%. Biopharma is 35.2% of that component of GDP, and of course economy more than 53 billion US dollar. Services 9.4%, and otherwise 15.6 billion US dollars. So also agree 8% and more than 13 billion which he has presented. So you have the figures actually to state where we were, where we have moved on. And this also gives the projection of the figures that we are going to achieve sooner than later in the years to come. And of course, our success stories have been many. Rajesh was narrating, but what is more important to understand is that today, if India has been recognized globally for its science prowess and is being looked up to, is primarily because of two sectors: A, space; B, biotechnology. Now, space is talked about more often because it's a little more romantic, seeing things going up, coming down, all those flash, and that countdowns happening, and reverse countdowns happening, 10, 9, 8. Here we don't have all that. So, but I would tell you how. We were the first to come out with a vaccine for COVID, and I have to compliment Rajesh and his team. And the importance of that is that we were never taken seriously for our healthcare research, not even for our therapeutics. Today we are being hailed as leaders in not therapeutic, but in curative, in prophylactic, in preventive healthcare. So that's a huge departure. That's given us, and again, it has been possible because of the public-private synergy. They did the trial, and the Bharat Bioeconomy carried it forward. Then the HPV vaccine, which is known to have a role in prevention of cervical cancer, though I would not, being a medical profession, not say that it will prevent cervical cancer, because that is what is said in the loose language, because cancer is a multifactorial outcome. Some viruses also contribute to it. One of them has been found to be the HPV virus. But nevertheless, considering the large prevalence of it in this country, it can have, to a large measure, a preventive effect. And therefore, there is also a suggestion of making it universal for the adolescent girls. Again, a synergy between this department and the industry from Pune. Similarly, now we are also into the vaccines in tuberculosis, in malaria, which is in keeping with the TB Mukt Bharat. Gene therapy, he spoke about. Hemophilia, almost 60% of the factor 8, which is said to be deficient, was developed in the first trial, which is not a small thing. I know those who are in the business of medical research or medical journalism would realize it was virtually considered a fatal disease. It's still considered. You have societies, NGOs, collecting blood for hemophilia patients, because if you get hurt, then there's no way you can stop the bleeding. Many of them die, even youngsters bleeding to death. And it was also, for the old timers, because I'm an old time physician, at one upon a time, it was called Queen's disease, because one of the Queen Victoria's ancestors had this, and that's how it got the world attention. But it was considered to be a very deadly disorder. Today, we have succeeded in creating 60% of that factor. And soon we would be heading to about 90%. And none of our subjects have bled during that period of trial. And that is why the other part of it, which many would not understand in this room if you are not directly related to this area, is that it got a coverage, a slot in the New England Journal of Medicine. And the New England Journal of Medicine is 200 years old, among the oldest science journals in the world. New England Journal of Medicine and British Medical Journal belong to those times when the entire science was controlled by the Great Britain before America took over in 60s and 70s. And they would not publish an article simply because Rajesh has put in a word. They have their own validation mechanisms, ratification mechanisms. And if we are getting acceptability, that is why now I said India is getting recognition across the world, because we have proved ourselves on those benchmarks. And that's why I said, like space biotechnology has done so. Where's the hemophilia, where's COVID, where's the nephromycin. First time ever we have come out with an antibiotic, all the trials done here, the salt developed here. Earlier on what happened, we got the salt from there, we manufactured it here. We had a lot of pharma companies here, but this was the one. Of course, we again got linked with a pharma house called Vocard, and they did it for us. It's now found to be quite effective in particularly resistant respiratory infections, which are prevalent among uncontrolled diabetics, among malignancies, etc. And as he was mentioning, I think what he should have also mentioned is, because that makes a good topical information, we are among the first to have engaged in something called space biology, space medicine. We have formally agreed or entered into an MOU with the Department of Space, ISRO. Because tomorrow when you have the Sunita Williams-like situation, we are there already engaging ourselves. And when we are envisaging ourselves to have a Bharat Antariksh Station, as I said in the parliament yesterday, by 2035, and when we expect our astronauts to stay over there for extended periods of time, because just becoming astronaut does not mean that your physiology changes. You still remain the children of the similar parents. So space medicine and space biology is going to be a new stream of study in the years to come. And we have already got awakened to that fact. And we have already started working on that. Because and that's why it is said that the next industrial revolution is going to be bio-revolution, like the last one being IT revolution. And therefore, without going long and on, because usually the chief guests are supposed to say goody things and finish out 3 months, but I have been in the business of faculty talking all my life, so the habit doesn't go. But I would rather sum up saying that on the occasion of the 13th anniversary of BioRac, all that we can say is that we have an opportunity, we can seize that opportunity to ensure that biotechnology and bioeconomy not only forms an important component as we move off from rank 5 to 4, 3 and so forth, and that 2047 Viksit Bharat. It has an opportunity, and we have to seize that opportunity to make it an important component of the overall future economic growth of India. And BioRac, per se, can become an instrument of that value addition. So that is the importance of the gentleman sitting over here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Your continued support for scientific research, innovation, and entrepreneurship has been instrumentation in positioning India as a global leader in biotechnology. So your presence here today reinforces the government's commitment to fostering a vibrant ecosystem where science and innovation fuel national growth and societal progress. Thank you, sir.
I would request Secretary DBT to kindly felicitate our Honorable Minister with the memento from BioRac.
First, we'll take question answer. So, thank you very much, sir, for an excellent address to this audience, august audience. So, I'll start with the 46. Please introduce yourself and your organization's name, please.
Hi, sir.
Sound.
Hi, sir. This is Sumit Chaturvedi, ET Now. To start with, sir, I would like to ask, where do we stand when it comes to the world global comparison? Where we are ahead of other countries, and where do we need to catch up as far as this whole sector and economy is concerned?
No, I'm glad you asked that, but I think I also try to dwell on that. When we started, we were nowhere. And also because there was not much of prioritization to biotechnology. Not only at the government level, even at the social level. If you asked a common citizen what was biotechnology all about, even some of the students, they would not be able to figure out whether it was biology or technology, engineering or medicine. But soon after this, one after other, the success stories started happening, emanating from here. A survey was done among class 12 children, I think about a few years back, 4-5 years back, and it was found that the students passing out class 12 gave biotechnology their third or fourth preference, which means that the realization had dawned that now this is going to be the future career also, because even if to sustain startup, you have to have good outcomes or prospects of good returns for a livelihood as well. So that is one aspect. So, but having started late, in 10 years, the kind of progress that has been made is very promising, which means that it will carry us places. And for any progress being made over the years, there are two essential prerequisites. A, that you have to be very consistent. Your graph has to go up progressively. It doesn't have to dip again and again. So that is what is happening, as you saw, from 8 billion to 10 billion, and now we are. The other is that you have to have certain landmarks, which could be celebrated by the world so that you get recognition. And I'm glad that in just 5-6 years, we have had about 3-4 landmarks. One is vaccine, one is nephrothromycin, third is gene, fourth is, of course, space. We are just now trying to explore it, but these three are already established. So now the world also knows, and we have a huge resource of bio. It's, I mean, of course, this is not an academic talk, otherwise I could speak the whole day. It has about 3 aspects. One is the human, the other is the agriculture, the third is the marine. So we could have 3 sessions. And in he's talked about these, the life sciences, but you not talk about the plants also. We've done a lot. Of course, there's a repository of 10,000 individual gene sequences, which of course now is reached 1 million or reaching 1 million. Similarly, in the plants also. And if you take it integrated, biotechnology is not happening only in the Department of Biotechnology. In this ministry, we have other 2 wings called CSIR and the DST. CSIR also is in a big way. That's why I have suggested to Rajesh and also to Kalai Selvi that we'll integrate now. Our lab on the same analogy of synthetic experiments. The tulips which were offered at Ram Mandir were created or developed by our lab or institute in Palampur. Otherwise, nobody asked, not even the media, where do the tulips come in the month of December or January? That doesn't happen in the winter season. And the other institute in Lucknow came out with a 108 petal lotus. So we are equally now as much doing biotechnology even in the plant domain or the agriculture domain, which is going to also modify or double farmers' income, as PM says. So it's very diverse. It is interesting more talking about the life sciences because it concerns each one of us. But equally much is the plant sciences happening. You want to add? And of course, the marine is our deep ocean mission or deep sea mission in earth sciences will soon also realize that they need to have the biotechnology inputs, because when they start exploring the biodiverse properties in the seabed.
Can just elaborate on what Honorable Minister has said about actually. I mean, clearly our super leadership is in vaccine manufacturing. That is non-competitive. I mean, we are actually the world's largest manufacturer of vaccine technology. Obviously,
no, that's
much
what
more supported by
Bill Gates came looking for. So that itself is a testimony.
So, and obviously this was supported by COVID Mission Suraksha program, which was again the BIRAC, DBT put it together actually. And therefore the capacity has grown to now that every technology that you require for vaccine, whether it's an mRNA, DNA, or inactivated virus, or the protein fragment, or every technology exists not just in terms of R&D and innovation, but also in manufacturing capabilities. So we are top leaders in that, actually. The second area that we are doing really well is bioethanol as well, actually. I think the 1G ethanol story is like absolutely amazing. In such a short period of time, we have done absolutely stunning amount of bioethanol work, actually. And of course, it's to do with molasses, to do with sugar factories, to do with, beverage industry that is along with associated with it. So many things contribute to complex ecosystems, actually. And as Sir is rightly saying, we've been taking up one after another. I mean, similarly, we'll be in future, as Sir said, cell and gene therapy programs.
Food industry.
BioSaarthi, food industry, exactly.
We have startups in food. One of them that producing animal-free milk is now started exporting from Bengaluru. In fact, in times to come, you will have to have several verticals in the Department of Biotechnology, dedicating to different domains.
47.
Hello, Sagar from PTI. So the report shows that most of the biotech industry is centered around the western part and the southern part. You have any plans to ensure that it also grows in the east and the north?
No, you are right. Actually, there are legacy reasons for that, because they had an ecosystem in place which made it easier for them to make a headway, which possibly was not so much available in the other parts of the country. But we are now expanding. That also applies to other streams of science as well. Now, for example, only day before yesterday, I told the parliament that we are going to have the first nuclear plant in Haryana. That was also all confined to South. So we are now trying to, and of course we will have to, because when some of the regions get saturated, these are the unexplored regions. And much of the biodiverse richness lies in these regions, the Himalayas, and we have 4 or 5 states in the bed of Himalayas. And we've already started working on that.
125.
One for Dr. Gokte.
So you will not spare anybody.
सर आप आए हो सामने तो फिर first question for Dr. Gokhale. See, Minister mentioned about space biology. We saw during the OM experiment done by ISRO, startups had contributed, and they were very naive experiments. Growing lobia seeds in space, and it's very basic stuff. Why was no DBT institution involved in any of those experimentation? Is the DBT institution not contributing to the space economy? Because they were missing, all of them were missing. None of the institutions, CCMB, IGIB, none of them were there. So please, I need a clear answer on that. Second question for Dr. Jitendra Singh. So agri-biotech is something which you have been focusing on. But one area where the Prime Minister has also highlighted was oil seeds. And we are large importers of edible oil. And you know where I'm going. Why have we not done anything to introduce genetically modified oil seeds, especially mustard and other seeds? You highlighted yourself, you're letting gene therapy happening in humans, done a clinical trial, but are holding back on introducing genetically modified oil seeds, which have been done by your own department.
Yeah, I think thank you very much for this question. And as you would agree, I think some simple experiments, biological experiments, can be done by any department. It's only when you want to become technically challenging programs and projects, and that is why, as Honorable Minister talked about it, the MOU between ISRO and Department of Biotechnology now is space. And there are already 3 programs that are from Department of Biotechnology's institutions are being taken further ahead now. And I can send you a list of this. Vamsi is there actually. I don't know, Vamsi, are you here? So Vamsi can give you the list of these projects that are going to be taken up. One of them is to do with the amoeba actually. One of them is to do with stem cells aspect of it. And the third one is related to cyanobacteria. And so these are being taken up. So as you rightly said, clearly the early on were done by themselves, and Indian Institute of Science was involved in it, which is actually a premier institution whose biotech department has been supported by Department of Biotechnology that way. IISc's initial microbe was involved actually. I'm aware of that actually. I think.
कोई बात नहीं, अब जानकारी मिल गई.
The fault is theirs. They didn't inform you. But the point is that the department officially of biotechnology may not have got involved per se, but the biotechnologists and biotechnology was involved. That's right, no? It's like that. It's like in a primary school, the postgraduate teacher doesn't come in to teach alphabet in the kindergarten. So it's like that. But your suggestion is well taken, and I'm glad that you study the subject so deeply and give us the feedback now as far as the oil seeds and the other things. Of course, it's very well taken. We are into this, and we will move on. In fact, it's not only being done in the Department of Biotechnology. I think biotechnology is too large an area to be left to him alone. And it's not about. We have the CSIR also involved in it. We have the IISc also involved in it. We have the education institutions involved in it. And our CSIR lab in Chandigarh is into this. The genetic synthesis and experiments in the plant seeds, plant oils. What is that? Indian Chemical? IMTech. So everything may not be happening in the Department of Biotechnology, which is official department, but otherwise it's been, that's why I said, and to take a cue from you, which I've already been insisting, we have to integrate all these institutes and labs. That's why last year, just as we had in CSIR 1 week, 1 theme, I said this year we should have 1 week, 1 week, 1 lab. We should have 1 week, 1 theme. So single theme and all the institutes getting together. And maybe some of the institutes, and of course, so which do not fall strictly under the Ministry of Science, have also much to contribute. And also the private sector. What I'm, no, we are into that. I'm not denying it. But what I'm saying is that now, because it's not happening in the Department of Biotechnology officially, does not mean that it's not happening or not being planned. But of course, we would integrate it in a more institutionalized manner in the times to come.
15.
Sir, Jacob Koshi from the Hindu newspaper. The Bio-E3 policy was cleared, in August 24 by the cabinet. But I'm curious to know, do you have any specific plan as a mission? And with that, a specific budgetary outlay that is required? Because most of our major missions have, like the Earth Sciences mission, they have like a major budgetary outlay. So I was wondering, anything for Bio-E3 is in the anvil, and when can we expect something?
Actually, the allocation of 1,500 crores for 2 years was given specifically for this purpose, actually. And it's only specifically for this Bio-E3 related activities for biomanufacturing and for 2 years, 1,500 crores for 2 years, actually. Yes, I think, the 16th Finance Commission is coming into the action, right?
I mean, there's no embargo.
It will come in that part as well, actually. I think that's why it was given for 2 years purpose.
I think again, to add to what I was saying, we have to come out of that mindset of looking up to the government. And now that we are open to integrate the private sector, I think we should not look at it only as to the extent of what the government is providing us. And I'm sure in the times to come, we will enter into a phase where we will have a larger contribution being made by the private sector. That's the only way forward.
35.
BioE3 also has an important component of, as a mandate of private collaboration. So that also would be, adding to their pool.
Anil Handa, Loktantra Kishan. On the onset, I congratulate BioEC. BioEC, as I understand, is for not profit making. So the benefits reaping out of the research and the collaborations are, how are they distributed like? I'd like to understand that model. And a second question on the...
No, what was the first question?
BioEC is supposed to be a non-profit making organization, isn't it? It's a public sector thing. So I want to understand whatever benefits, economic benefits are happening because of the research and collaborations, how are they distributed between the BioEC and other institutions? And the second one is on the genetically modified GM as a word itself, that we had bad experiences with brinjal and cotton. So how different it would be genetically modified in case of agriculture, any product?
No, I think as far as the first part is concerned, BioEC is more of an interface. Is that right? It's not a PSU, but you want to say? Yeah. You want to define yourself?
Yeah. Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council is a not-for-profit, as you rightly said. It's a PSU, Section 8 company. So Section 8 companies are companies where even if you make profit, it has to be plowed back into the objectives of what it is doing. So we have some programs of equity funding, ACE funding, etc., which are, when we get the return, it is plowed back into the same project. So it's not, nobody is holding the shares, and it's not going to anybody's pocket. It's within the objectives of the department, it is put. So it's replowed back.
My curiosity is, how do you sustain yourself?
So actually right now we are dependent upon the funding from the DBT, because we still are not taking equities in a huge way wherever we invest. Actually, it's co-funding. So if we fund we encourage industries to also fund, and there is some small component of revenue sharing. When they become profitable, they actually give us back some amount. But that is not important. It's not sufficient to sustain right now. So, but later on, I think we'll go into that direction where equities and
you have a point. Maybe in the times to come when they move on,
yeah.
They are just toddlers, 13 years, adolescents.
Quite a
not
good
even
one.
Are the first year of teenage.
Okay, the second question.
Is 13.
GM.
GM, third.
I think things are under progress, and because it's under the purview of the court, I think it's probably would not be right to talk more about it, but it's going to happen. GM mustard stories are being taken up. I think GM cotton technology was also recently, Honorable Minister transferred it to a company. And of course, the bullworm, the cotton done in the CSIR lab actually, which is now being transferred to a company to be able to take forward. I think these activities are going on because BT cotton is the only crop that has been permitted by government actually.
In the near future, you think it will be sustainable for scientists to...
But I think, all biological processes are evolutionarily controlled. And we should not underestimate that new technologies has to be constantly evolved to manage and maintain the sustainability of the planet. And so these things will continue to evolve actually.
Thank you.
So much of dynamism in this entire phenomena that we can't actually look at tomorrow through the prism of today. The entire scenario may have changed. So what we are trying to emphasize today may not hold much relevance. So as he is rightly mentioning, it's very fast evolving.
Thank you very much. Now I would request Dr. Prachi Kaushik for the final leg of the program, and then program will be concluded.
Thank you, sir. So I would request our Secretary DBT, Dr. Rajesh Gokhale, sir, to felicitate our Honorable Minister with the memento.
A huge round of applause, please.
Now I would like to request MD BioLac, Dr. Jitendra Kumar, to felicitate Secretary DBT with the memento. Now I would like to request our DF BioLac, Ms. Nidhi Srivastava, to felicitate Shri Dhirendra Ojha ji with a memento. Now, for concluding the two-day program, I would like to request our DF BioLac, Ms. Nidhi Srivastava, for her vote of thanks.
Thank you, Prachi. It's a privilege and an honor to extend my heartfelt gratitude on behalf of DPT BioLac at this momentous occasion, the Foundation Day celebrations and the launch of India Bioeconomy Report 2025. First and foremost, I would like to express our deepest appreciation to our Honorable Union Minister of State Independent Charge, Ministry of Science and Technology, Ministry of Earth Sciences, Minister of State in the PM Office, Ministry of Personal, Public Grievances and Pensions, Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Space, Dr. Jitendra Singh, for gracing this event with his presence and for his continued leadership and commitment to fostering innovation. Sir, there can't be enough good words for you. And we assure you that our best is yet to come. A sincere thanks to Dr. Rajesh S. Kokle, Secretary DBT, DG BRIC, and Chairman BioRec for his invaluable insights and continued support in advancing India's biotech landscape. We are deeply grateful to Shri Dhirendra Ojha, Principal Director General, Media and Communications, PIB, for sharing his valuable insights. A special note of appreciation to Mr. G.S. Krishnan, President Abel, for presenting the highlights of India's bioeconomy. I would like to extend sincere gratitude to Dr. Manish Diwan, Mission Director, Make in India, for providing a detailed overview of BioSaarthi. Our heartfelt thanks also goes to Dr. Jitendra Kumar, MD BioLac, for his unwavering dedication and leadership in steering BioLac's mission forward. Finally, a heartfelt thanks to all our esteemed guests, industry leaders, BioLac team, researchers, and partners who joined us today. Thank you all once again, and I wish you a wonderful afternoon ahead. Thank you. Please join us for lunch at 4th floor.